If you'll bear with me for just a moment, I'll get through the gear as quick as I can. I know, it's everybody's favorite part, but I'm going to try to keep it short. The only piece of gear that really helps with this spec that I have is the Reaper Wraps. The 30% primary resource restore, combined with righteousness, really helps with wrath, so you don't find yourself starved or lacking in wrath. I don't have any improved damage for holy, lightning, or any of the skills used in this build. This makes it so that you're getting a true view of what the spec works like with a minimalistic gear set. My crit hit chance is only 20%, crit hit damage 231%, and area damage 27%. For Paragon points, I went with movement speed to 10% as the author of the build suggests, and then maximum wrath. This extra maximum wrath really maximizes my Reaper Wraps potential. As I get a higher Paragon level, I expect to see better return from it. For offense, I went cooldown reduction, which is absolutely essential for this build. For defense, I went resist all for survivability. Life percentage would have been good too. Area damage is really undervalued, especially for a spec that does lots and lots of area damage. This alone will help you a ton. It is worth way more than the resource cost reduction or the life on hit, unless you find yourself dying all the time. There are two different ways you can go with this build. The first is Holy, which will result in a higher DPS. The second is Lightning, which will result in more crowd control. Depending on the gear set you have, you may choose to go one or the other. If you choose to go Holy, you'll want to use Slash with Zeal for increased attack speed, Fists of Heaven, Divine Well. The little crackles from it hit for as much as the actual ability itself. This can really rack up, especially when combined with Provoke and charged up for the additional 50% lightning damage. Unleashed provides you with some powerful burst, and Heaven's Fury, Blessed Ground, is also very powerful for clearing out packs or single monsters. RAKKIS Champion with Rally is where this build really begins to shine though. When you combine it with Charged Up, Unleashed, and Blessed Ground while spamming your Fists of Heaven, you will have your cooldowns reset very, very quickly if you're in a decent sized pack, and still pretty quick if you're going against a single mob. I've easily melted 2 yellow elites within like 30 seconds with this build, just because of the power of RAKKIS Champion with the cooldown. Your passives are Righteousness, Holy Cause, and Wrathful, with Heavenly Strength of course. If you choose to go with the Lightning version of this build, you will instead go with Electrify for your primary. This will result in much more crowd control. Fists of Heaven would of course be switched to the famous and awesome Fissure. You'll want to place your fissures on opposite sides of mob packs in order to get maximum efficiency from it. Charged Up works well with the lightning build as well for your plus lightning damage. Unfortunately, the rest of your abilities don't synergize with your plus lightning damage, but hey, lots of crowd control and lots of boost from those 3 abilities will result in still a pretty good damage build. If you really want to make some adjustments to the passives, the only one that I would recommend is Holy Cause. If you don't have a holy weapon, the 1% life back results in 3, 4, 5,000 life per hit, which can be pretty significant. But unless you're stacking a lot of vitality, you're sitting around the 3,000 to 4,000 range. I would actually recommend using Vigilant instead for the 5% reduced damage and the passive 2,000 life regen per second. That way if you have to start running away and kiting and you run out of wrath, you'll still have a pretty solid regeneration rate. You could also go with Indestructible for if you're getting low and you want to boost your health survivability. You could go with Divine Fortress for straight up more armor. Or you could go with Hold Your Ground for more block percent. Whatever you want. If you want more DPS in place of Holy Cause, you could throw in Finery for an extra 70 strength per socket, or Fervor for even more attack speed. I think Fervor is kind of a bad choice here. If you really want to go DPS, you probably want to go Finery. Your other 3 passives are definitely mandatory. Heavenly Strength is absolutely necessary because a 2-handed weapon is what provides you the burst in this build. Righteousness will stop you from becoming wrath-starved and increase the effectiveness of your Reaper Wraps. And Wrathful will really help you with your burst healing and pinch. This is also increased by your amount of Health Globe bonus healing, so if you want to stack that, you can increase its effectiveness even further. Right now, I'm getting about 25,000 healing each time I cast my Spender, which is a pretty good chunk of healing. Okay, let's go try to find some action. I'll show you what the spec can do. The Keep Depths. Everyone's favorite run. Okay. One of the things I've really noticed about this build is that it's really good at melting down elites. I'm going to show you right here. So if you look, I wasn't even spamming those abilities like I really should have been, and they just died horribly, and my gear is really not that impressive. Okay. Charged Up really adds lots of extra bursts because every time any ability hits any enemy, you get an extra 50% damage. That's pretty nice. I try to skip really small packs, but if there's 4 or 5 monsters, I spend the Wrath on them. I would love to have a little extra mobility with Steed Mount, but I don't know what you'd substitute in for that, and it's really not that amazing compared to what you get for your return on investment on other skills. You can see it just melts white trash, and frankly with my gear that doesn't usually happen. I'm so happy that I found this build on the forums. Big shout out to RAKKIS. I think that's how you'd say his name. Okay, let's see if we can find another yellow pack so I can show you a little bit better what this build looks like in action. When I jump into a battle, I usually start off by spamming my Provoke before anything else to get any Wrath that I need. Also generates that extra lightning damage. Condemn is always nice for the burst. If I don't need it, I try to save my Heaven's Fury for bigger packs or challenging monsters. That way I can be sure it's up from cooldown when I need it. Condemn's cooldown is much lower, and same with Provoke. So I don't find that I need them to be saved for any particular reason. When you hit a certain amount of cooldown reduction, I'm sure that you wouldn't have to worry about it at all. You could just spam them all because of the effective uptime of Heaven's Fury. Since it's cast and the cooldown starts immediately, it takes a while before the ability stops going off, which means that with enough cooldown reduction, you could potentially keep it up indefinitely. Now I popped my big cooldown, my Aircat's champion right there, so I could get reduced cooldowns on everything else. And as you notice, I'm a little slow about activating things. I've only been playing the spec for about 20 minutes or so, but everything was off of cooldown, like super quick. I was able to refresh it before even my Heaven's Fury had ended. That's a pretty good preview of what this spec can do. I'm going to complete this bounty. If you want to skip ahead in the video to a boss fight, I will also put a link below so that you can jump in and see what it's like against a boss. I'll be fighting Siegecrafter since that's on my bounty list. Might as well multitask, right? Diablo's all about efficiency anyway. Well, that's what most people tell me. I think it's more about fun than efficiency, but you know, whatever. So if I only have like one guy left, I keep running until I get more in my sights so I can really hit him with that AoE. Otherwise I find I waste too much Wrath. Oh, I'm a bad player. I missed that health globe back there. Could have had more Wrath. But as you can see, the Reaper Wraps aren't really necessary with this build. But they're really nice. If you don't know where to get those, you can farm them from Malthael. He drops the recipe as well as the reagent to craft them. The white bracers that you're going to need for it are a little bit of a pain in the butt to get. Just run some Act 1 stuff, go into a Cathedral, click on some racks, maybe do some Act 4. They have lots of weapon racks in there. I don't remember where I ended up picking up my random white bracers from, but I just noticed they were in my inventory one day and I was like, oh, Shoot, I better craft that. I didn't realize how powerful they would be until I actually put them on and realized that I never have any wrath worries anymore, just because of the health glove bonus. It's really pretty insane. If you don't have it, I'd really recommend it. Now I know this is only tier 1, and most people play on a much higher tier than that, but my gear is just not there yet. I was mainly a wizard for quite a while. I work a 50-hour-a-week job, and I have a pregnant wife, so altogether I do not have the time to put into Diablo that, I'd really like to. But even with this suboptimal character, I'm able to blow through Torment 1 very, very easily. Other specs I have tried have been hammered in builds, which, well, frankly, were really boring. I've also tried several different Blessed Shield builds, which I did like, but I didn't have the one-handed legendary for it until today, so I haven't really got a chance to try out the full potential of those, but by comparison, this build definitely did better than any others I tried. I also tried the Holy Shotgun build, but I didn't have the legendary flail for that, so again, it underperformed. I think one of the real strengths of this build is that it doesn't really require any particular legendary to be effective. You can just jump in and start using it. It's really nice to not have that really steep requirement of needing a specific legendary. Sure, things like Reaper Wraps help, or really high damage weapon would help, but all in all, this is a really low level of entry for this spec, and it's really awesome. I love seeing that. My Aircats champion came off cooldown, so this guy will get melted now. In case you were wondering why it was taking me so long to kill him there. Hopefully that mouse clicking isn't too loud for you guys. Wow, this must be my super lucky day. I got 2 legendaries here. I never get legendaries. I thought Blizzard nerfed the drop rate outside of rifts. You also notice that a lot of the time I forget to even use my Provoke and Condemn, and just the Divine Well in and of itself is enough to smatter most white enemies pretty quickly. Okay. I completed my bounty. I should stop killing stuff. Alright, Siegebreaker time. Alright, here we are working our way over to Siegebreaker. I freaking hate Frozen. Arcane Cutters and Frozen. Hate those 2 things. Oh, look at that. Arcane Cutters too. Who would have thought? I really should just take the time to read that stuff when I encounter the pack, but it's so much fun to just find out. Oh, where's my path? Oh, I love this build. It just blows stuff up. I'm not sure how it would perform against super high health mobs like Act 5s or Act 4s. I'll have to do a little more testing with that, but Act 3 guys have quite a bit of health too, and they're melting pretty well, so I think it wouldn't have a whole lot of problem with that. Can't even imagine what this spec would perform like if you had decent gear or any plus holy, or if you have a lightning spec already built up. I can imagine it'd be super efficient with lightning too. I might do a second video as well just to show what it works like with lightning. Put a link to it at the end of this one. My apologies for the delay with the event. I'm a completionist, I can't just skip it. If you follow the annotations, you can jump to any part in the video that you want. So if this doesn't excite you a whole lot, you can jump to the boss fights. Then you'll miss all the exciting action though, and possible legendary drops. Who knows, I could get a 3rd one. Reaper Wraps for more Wrath. Zeal really helps a lot with your attack speed, and it does area damage if there are multiple mobs. Oh my god, I actually got another legendary. What the heck? Okay, I need to make videos more often. This is amazing. I can't even believe this. I'll identify those at the end, just so that people can see. But holy cow, it's got to be the spec, right? The spec is giving me the legendaries. Everyone should play the spec because, you know, it's the spec. Yeah, that's it. Let's go with that. Stupid big guy, forget him. He'll follow me anyway. Try to group any really big guys up with packs of guys so that they can melt with the rest of them and I don't waste a ton of time. See, he followed me. He's stupid like that. He didn't know he's gonna die. Got yellow somewhere. Oh, that's not good. I hate frozen. Oops, had to use a potion there. I got frozen. Such a bad player. Should've saw that wall coming. Gotta learn to see the future. Not another legendary? Come on, Blizzard, you disappoint me. I get a couple legendaries and I start to become entitled. Fun times. I actually just popped RAKKIS champion here so we can blow through this a little bit quicker. But you can really see the power of this build for clearing big packs of mobs, as well as for single target damage. Plus, who doesn't want to look like a giant crusader with glowing blue stuff? Resist. Resist. Can't resist. Ooh, protection. I feel so ADD right now. I see something, I'm like, ooh, shiny. Hopefully it doesn't offend anyone. Okay. Almost a siege crafter. Okay, so this will give you a preview of how the spec works with the boss. I hate this boss. See, even when there's only one guy around, those cooldowns still reset pretty quick. Now that I'm gonna get some ads in here with me, he's gonna die a horrible bloody death. If he'd stop picking me up and being a jerk like that. Notice that those sparks are just destroying the little ads that come along. Love it. Love this spec. So I imagine if you had a lot better gear than mine, you would be knocking down Siegecrafter way quicker. And if he wasn't picking me up every 2 seconds, that'd be helpful. But altogether, you can see it's a pretty effective spec, and it can really dish out some serious damage. I would really recommend that anyone who is watching this give it a try. It doesn't matter what your gear level is, it really doesn't. Your gear can be crap. Whatever tier you're playing on, this will work for. I can't imagine it struggling at the higher tiers with the amount of healing it has. If it does though, you could always substitute some passives. So that's it. That's our Holy Retribution Fires of Heaven build. It's really, really a lot of fun. Give it a try. If you found this video helpful or useful in any way, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Click on the sponsor ad to give me extra support. My wife and soon-to-be kid could really use the extra money, so thank you for your time. Hope this video has helped, and let's unwrap our presents. Okay, Hellcat Waistguard. I don't think I have had that one before. So it looks like it'd be a nice damage upgrade, a little bit of a toughness healing downgrade. Might use it, might not. Let's see what my other one is. String of Ears. That's a fun name. Could probably do some reforging on that. Not very much damage though. Alright, so this has been Xanthist with another video guide. I hope to be doing more soon and get some support from the community. If you have any requests for videos to be made for a spec that's particularly good, or just because you want a video and you can't make one, send me a private message through diablofans.com and let me know, or message me on my YouTube videos or channels. Thanks and have a wonderful day.